Hello, welcome everyone to episode, honestly, I don't really know. We'll find out. Jenna, give us the number. 8. Episode 8 of the Unscripted Real Estate Show. My name is Martha Elizabeth Aguilar. Today, I will be lucky enough to be your host and your co-host. And today's show is going to be a little bit different, sweet and special. But before I go into that, I'd love to introduce who we have here. For starters, my name is Martha. I work with the leaders of Tomorrow, which were children for close to a decade. Today, I am owner of a virtual assistant agency, Morelli VA, and co-founder of I Am Community, an online community of women empowerment. I virtually assist the JS Realty team through transaction management and all things marketing. That's a little bit about myself. Next, we have the show producer, Jenna Charpentier. Jenna started working at the age of 7 in Hollywood, California, appearing in several commercials, TV shows, and even a movie. These days, she prefers to work behind the scenes, supporting the JS Realty team with day-to-day operations, marketing, and brand awareness. Next, we have our expert realtor, Beth Dunn. Beth is a Northern Virginia OG, having grown up in Loudoun County, so she's watched the area grow and change quite a bit. Beth is a powerhouse realtor, owns a real estate investment property, and is the director of Samson Property Management, so her expertise comes from her years of professional and personal experience. Next, we have expert realtor Chris Madison. Coach Chris is a Northern Virginia OG and grew up in Falls Church City. As a former college athlete, Chris takes a coach role with his clients so he's able to successfully guide them through their real estate transactions. He's also a girl dad to 2 beautiful teenage girls who also have a love of sports. Last but not least, we have expert realtor Linda Chandler. I've been pronouncing it Chandler. I apologize, Linda. It is Chandler. Linda got her start in Northern Virginia as well and has been an active member of the Falls Church City community for almost 20 years. Linda has a background in hospitality, which has proven useful in the real estate industry. She has become like a concierge to her clients. They can come to her for anything, and they sure do. Today's call, we are missing expert Jeff Taylor and our OG host, Sarah King Taylor. They are, living it up out in the West Coast, but that's totally fine because the team is going to hold it down. Beth, do you want to know what's happening today?
Yeah, tell me what's going on.
A lot is happening in today's market, but today's show specifically, it's short and sweet. And the sweet is the helpful tips that you, along with Linda and Chris, are going to be providing for a buyer in this competitive market. Tell us all about it, please. The crowd wants to know.
Yeah, guys, it's definitely a competitive market right now for our buyers. So today we're just going to throw out a couple of tips just to help you navigate through these tough waters right now. And so, with us being on both sides, the listing and the buyer side of transactions, we kind of get to see both worlds. So I think the very first thing that you need to do when putting in an offer is make sure that you are putting in as clean of a contract as possible. And that doesn't just mean waiving all the contingencies, but the actual contract itself, making sure that you are aligning yourself with a realtor that is filling out the contract completely, correctly, having all the information in there. You want to make sure that you're having your pre-qualification letter in there from your lender. You want to make sure that you have everything in there so it's nice, clean, and easy to get it to the listing agent. Right now, on the listing side, we're seeing multiple offers on our properties, and our biggest frustration is just not having clear, clean, well put together offers. So ensuring that you are working with somebody that can do that, I think that's super important, and kind of an easy thing to start off with doing. And then, you've got to know the market and what's going on. You've got to make sure that your agent is having clear communications with the listing agent. What does the listing side have? Do they have multiple offers in hand? What's most important to the seller? Does the seller need rent back? You know, do they need certain things to help them and to help your offer look stronger? And I won't go too far. I'll let Linda and Chris jump in with their thoughts on it too. But for the contract side, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there as ways to help our buyers.
Thank you for that, Beth. That was super informative. Linda, looks like you're on mute and you would like to share.
So my advice on a multiple offer situation, which is really what we're encountering a lot right now. You know, there's still kind of a backup on buyers and still little inventory. Good news though, spring is on the horizon. So I definitely think we'll see a lot more inventory come March and April. But there kind of is a backlog on buyers, and there are many people looking at one home. So in this instance, when you know you're going to be going up against many buyers, you know, there's a lot of different things you can do, but first and foremost, I do think that it is important to have a really good, solid real estate agent representing you. One that has a good reputation and works well with other agents, because to me, the agent rapport really plays well, is a big part of this process. I guess you would start, if something comes on the market, you need to go see that property immediately. When it goes active, you need to be the first person out there looking at that property. And you definitely need to see it in person as well, to be able to kind of move quick and make decisions on what you're going to do. Actually, before all of that, you do want to get pre-approved. So you are ready to hit the ground running when you do finally identify a house that you want to put an offer on. And not only do you want to be pre-approved, you would like to go the extra step to be approved through underwriting. And if you're approved through underwriting, then you can comfortably remove one of the contingencies that offers have. There are also different financing. You know, there's different loans. You have your conventional, you have VA, FHA, and different loans. But typically, you know, conventional is the easiest, most desirable behind a full cash offer. But, you know, reality is a lot of people don't have the ability to do full cash. So conventional is probably more appealing than your VAs and your FHA, only because there's just a couple things that those loans, additional steps that those loans require. You need the less contingencies, the better. And in terms of contingencies, there's home inspection, radon, appraisal, and finance contingency. Chris, am I missing any contingencies to speak to? No? Okay. So home inspection contingency, you know, I don't ever recommend purchasing a home without inspecting, but a way to get around that would be to obtain approval from the listing agent and the owner of the house, but to get a pre-offer home inspection. This could be a 1-hour inspection or a 2-hour inspection, where you could go through the home and just go through the big ticket items. But if you do that, then you can write an offer that you're waiving the home inspection contingency, because you have a strong idea of, you know, you have no recourse to go after home inspection. You know, you could always do a home inspection for void purposes only. You could do a home inspection for informational purposes only. But I do recommend with home inspection that you, you know, if you get the home inspection, that you can waive it easier once you know that the house is solid and you do have some idea of what potential bills could come up down the road. If a refrigerator is, say, 15 years old, you kind of have an idea, okay, you know, we have maybe a couple years left. Radon inspection. Radon is become relatively easy fix, you know, and waiving that inspection. You know, radon is important, and I do recommend everybody, you know, check for radon, but you know, it's usually maybe $1,000 to $1,500 fix if there is radon detected. So, you know, when you look at the big scheme of things, maybe waiving radon is something to do. Appraisal, you know, that's something that you're going to need to be able to have cash on the back end. So if the house doesn't appraise for a price that you put forth, then you need to be prepared to waive that and come up with a cash difference, or come up with the difference, and accept that, you know, say you put a purchase on a house that's 500,000 and it only appraises for 400,000, you're going to have to agree to come up with that difference. And finance contingency, you know, that was basically getting pre-approved and getting through underwriting. If you get through underwriting in the mortgage process, then essentially you are clean and good to go. Another thing would be a large earnest money deposit. I recommend that only because that tells the seller how serious you are about purchasing this home, and that you're not going to walk away easily. A larger down payment on a loan is also pretty key, because that says that you're financially sound. Offer more money than the asking price, because you're going up against 5, 10 other offers. And so money does count, but it's not the only thing. One of the key things too is working with the seller's needs. Sometimes money is not the most important thing, and you having the ability to do a rent back or a, you know, closing in 2 to 3 weeks time, that is a key part of your offer. And sometimes not, creating a personal connection with the buyer and seller sometimes helps, sometimes not. It varies by state on whether you can write owner letters or letters to the sellers, but just sometimes finding that little bit of connection that makes you stand apart. I think that holds true. I think that's about it.
That's about it. Linda, I think that you know very little about real estate.
Yes.
I think so.
You learn very quickly in markets like this, and yes, you definitely learn quick.
I feel like you gave more than one nugget to the audience right now, and that is what this is about. That is what the Unscripted Realty Show is about, so that people who are watching, they feel like they learned a thing or two, or in this case, they learned about 15 different things, especially being a buyer in this competitive market. Beth, Linda, you both provided so much, and I want to definitely give the floor to Chris. If there's anything at all, Chris, we'd love to hear what you can add, an experience that you're going through. I know you have definitely been going through some experiences, and anything to provide to the audience.
Yeah, sure. Couple things come to mind. Number one, lender matters. If you're a buyer, having a lender that's going to get you to the settlement table, that's going to give you that personal touch, is crucial. There are a ton of big banks out there and a lot of big time companies. Anyone can go online and apply for a pre-approval. But having a lender that you can call on a Sunday night at 8 p.m. to get an updated approval letter matters. Having that personal touch matters. So the way you do that, you may know somebody that can help you out on that. But again, back to the point of having a trusted realtor that has those connections, that has trusted relationships, really makes a difference. As far as your buyer's agent, you know, there's a lot of agents out there. We know that there's a lot of opportunities. You need to have an agent that is in it to win it, that's going to think outside the box, that's going to be creative about how we can best put our best foot forward for our buyers in this very challenging market. Getting creative with bringing home inspectors to showings, et cetera, like Linda said. I had an example last year of where a seller already had multiple offers in, and when I called up the agent, I just told them flat blank, what do we need to do to win this offer? My buyer absolutely loves your home. They love the community and they want to do whatever it takes. And sometimes being that aggressive can pay off. And with that agent, having a great relationship and a great communicator, being a great communicator, not only with your client, the buyer, but also with the other real estate agents, knowing exactly what their sellers want and giving them the perfect offer with a nice big bow on it really helps. And then last thing really is, that we're seeing right now is cash is king. As much as we want, with the financing, but having access to cash is definitely king. It definitely helps. Linda suggested, mentioned the higher earnest money deposit up front, maybe putting a little bit more down towards your down payment. And again, that's just a symbol. It communicates a commitment to the sellers that you really want that property. And sometimes those are just, choices that you may have to make as a buyer, and being able to put a little bit more down. Because what that ultimately does too, it means that you have to finance less from the lender, which gives the seller a little bit more peace of mind that the chances of this buyer being their loan going through the underwriting process, the chances are probably heightened because they're not having to finance as much. So again, all great points that Beth and Linda, I know a lot of it I was just kind of following through on, but I really do believe that the lender matters and the agent matters, having an agent that's really going to win it for you.
I love that, Chris. Pick up the phone and tell them, what do I have to do to win this? Says a lot about, the coach Chris and you. And this is amazing. So much information, so much value has been provided here. And I hope everyone who's out there watching this definitely learned a thing or two, especially if you're a buyer in this market. That being said, agents, if there is anything else that you'd like to add, please jump in. Linda, you're unmute.
There is one thing I did forget to mention on the contingencies, and there is a contingency called the home sale contingency, which a buyer could have a home already, and they're making the contract contingent on selling their home first. And in this market, that's just something that will, with multiple offers, making any sort of, the less contingencies, the better. So I would recommend anybody that does have a home that they sell their home and they're kind of in the driver's seat. And I think we've spoken about this in previous shows, but to work out an extended rent back situation. So they still have time to identify a home, but the buyer on their end also needs to be prepared. Once they've sold that home, they need to have option, B, C, D, and if that's moving in with family or such, but removing as many contingencies as possible is the way to go. So, home sale contingency, people aren't going to work with it right now, unfortunately.
Got it. Well, thank you for that value add, Linda. Thank you again to all of the agents, and thank you to everyone watching right now. As always, we come with these shows every Wednesday and every Thursday. Wednesdays at 1, Thursdays at 2. And in the comments, you will find our contact information. And if any of you want to reach out to any of our experts here, or Sarah Taylor and Jeff Taylor as well, who are missing and were kindly, who we were missing on the show, as well as the Simmons team. If you want to follow us, you can find us on Instagram at JS Realty, the number 4, the letter U. And of course, any of our other socials here on Facebook, you'll find us as well. And yeah, that is all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you heard and learned a thing or two. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Chris. And thank you to our producer, Jenna. And I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Thursday afternoon.
Thank you. Bye.